Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to the podcast, Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am pretty freaking thrilled to have you join us today because my guest is going to really show you using business and having a servant's heart can make a major impact in a country, not just a city, and make a big difference. Now, this podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of that purpose of a servant's heart in your business and in your life. We're also bringing on wonderful guests that will motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to make that impact in the world. Here's your call to action today, audience. Think about how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what impact you create today. And that key word is today. Let's start after the show and start serving people. Thank you, Pantheon, for being a wonderful sponsor. Imagine joining a community of high-income thought leaders who are making an impact in the world and an impact in your business. For more information, there'll be a link in the show notes, and you can reach out to me for more information. With that being said, my guest is in Coconut. Yeah, he's in Coconut. And how's a guy in Coconut become a servant's heart? Well, you're going to learn that today. I want to welcome our guest. Erik, welcome to the show. I'm excited.
Steve, thanks for having me.
How's a guy getting a coconut oil?
Well, we didn't intend to get into this. I started using it when my kids were young. Everybody told me that with black skin, coconut oil is one of the best moisturizers. So we would put it on them head to toe. That's how I was first introduced to it. And then my father and we started working with coconut farmers in the Philippines, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are. I'm now called the Coconut Guy.
What a great name. I gotta get you to Jamaica. What's interesting, as we met a few months back or whatever time it was not all coconut oil is the same. Just like not all apples, not all orange, across the board. Talk about what you're doing with coconut oil to really make a difference.
Yeah, well, there's two sides of it. One is the social side, and then the other is the product side. I'll start with the social. So we were doing, my father-in-law and we were doing nonprofit work in rural Philippines, working with families that were really struggling. And these families, they're dealing with food insecurity. 3 months or more out of the year, they don't have food, especially when there's a bad harvest or a bad typhoon. They just don't eat. They don't have health insurance. They're drinking unclean water. There's just all these terrible things that they're having to deal with that leads them to this abject poverty. But then on top of it, this is what we didn't realize. We were doing surveys with different families to try to see how we can make a bigger difference in their lives. And we asked this one farmer, and we asked, hey, what's your biggest hope and dream for your life? We thought he would talk about education for his kids, that all 3 of his kids would be able to graduate high school, or we thought he'd talk about, instead of having this bamboo nipa hut, having a cinder block home so that when the typhoons came through, it didn't knock over his whole house. But he looked at us and he said, my biggest hope in life is that my debt is not passed on to my children. And that's when we realized, on top of all this financial struggles and really hardships for their life, there was this root thing, and the locals, they call it copra slavery. And it's when the buyers of the coconuts offer these predatory loans at interest rates over 200%. When there's a bad harvest, a typhoon, or a kid, there's medical care needed. And these loans they just crush these families. And so we realized we needed to pivot. And we needed to attack the root of this problem. And we believe economic problems need economic solutions. So we jumped into the coconut business, and now we buy their coconuts at a fair price. But then we're also going a step further to really reverse all the effects of that exploitation that has happened over the years because of this copra slavery.
You know what I love about this, real quick, is, and I teach people monitor servant's heart, that you did this social impact with a servant's heart, but you're also making money. You have a successful business. I want to point that out because that's the important thing is you're doing such great things, but you're not poor and homeless yourself.
Well, I'm not. Nobody's got in this for the money. We really wanted
Well,
it to
true,
be
yeah.
we wanted it to be sustainable. That's the
Yeah.
point. We wanted the business to make money so that it could fund future growth
Mhm.
and that it could be sustainable as a business. So yeah, that's our goal.
Yeah, I love that. Now talk about the product side really shocked me. And audience, he sent me a sample. My wife's been using it, loves it. So there's
Mm.
I'm going to legitimize it's much better than anything else you get at a dollar store or whatever. Talk about the difference in the product.
Yeah, so when we got into coconuts, we knew nothing. People told us about the coconut oil, the coconut water, and all these things. And so we jumped in, researched, and we were about to make coconut oil the same way as all the other companies make them. And in the process, we realized even your cold pressed coconut oil uses the machinery that boils the oil. And we thought, well, that's weird. First of all, that sounds like false advertising. But also, we thought you're burning off all these great micronutrients, and it gives the flavor of strong coconut taste, which sometimes you might want that. But if you're using it consistently as a replacement for butter or other seed oils, you don't want everything tasting like coconut. And so we looked at the olive oil industry, and they use a centrifuge on their best
Hmm.
olive oils. So a centrifuge, so we put our coconut cream in the centrifuge, spun it at super fast G-force, and out one end came the coconut milk and the other end came the coconut oil. And this coconut oil, it just was fresh, light tasting, like nothing else. And it had all those raw micronutrients. So it's just packed with more benefits. You get 4 times the antioxidants with our oil than others. So it is a uniquely better product.
Yeah. And doing all engineering is not cheap and it's time. And you did that because you wanted to serve people with a better product, right?
Yeah, that's part of it. We want to add value there. The more that we can bring value to the people that are there in the Philippines, the better, the more that we're really helping them.
Well, I'm going to end the show right there because this is fantastic. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, audience, because there's a lot more to talk about. Because on the business side, you sold your business in 2003. Has that helped you, what you learned there, to do what you're doing today?
That background really was good because I had to understand sales, marketing,
Mm.
operations, production, all those things. And so, yeah, from there, I went into nonprofit work for the next 10 years, which really helped me understand those living in poverty, those coming that are that being trafficked. And so now to be able to take both those passions of doing business well and really taking the benefits of this, like this economic engine that can create jobs, can create fair trade, and stimulate the local economy. Combine that with my years of nonprofit work, of good best practices of community development, using the assets that the community has instead of just parachuting in and
Yeah.
giving people stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool. And a question that comes to my mind, I'm a mafia guy, I'm Italian guy, so I love mafia movies. Was there an issue with these coconut lords, I'll call them, that you come in and go, hey, I'm going to start giving fair prices? Did you have to deal with any of that?
We've had to deal with it a little bit, but
Okay.
for the most part, we've been really fortunate that we've been protected from they're called the casa, using the Spanish word home. And we've been warned to not go in certain areas that they have more control over, and they've they've come and said, hey, they've demanded money from us to quote unquote protect us. And we're thinking, protect us from who? You're the only threat.
Good point. Yeah. That's a really good point.
But it's just a form of extortion. And
Yeah.
that's something hard about a lot of these third world countries is there is corruption. And 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 for some people, that's really their livelihood. And so it's hard to really fault them. They're trying to feed their families. But we made a commitment a long time ago that we were not going to be involved in that. And so we don't do any bribes. And that's cost us many
Oh, I'm
times
sure.
over. But now, 12 years down the road, it's really helped us because everybody knows you're not going to get a bribe out of dignity. And so don't even try. But in
Yeah.
those early years, it stalled us. We had 6 months where we were stalled waiting for a license from a government entity. And it was so hard to not just give in and hand over this money that would grease the wheels. They actually, in the Philippines, they call it grease money.
Oh, geez. And resilience, that's a big part of an entrepreneur, business owner journey. You just described it. You could have given up many times. I'm glad you didn't, because 12 years later, you've got these great stories. Dignity Made is such a cool name for a product company. How'd that come about? Because that's what you're doing. You're making dignity with these Filipino farmers.
You know, it came about because our thoughts on charity and working with the poor and trafficking really just changed a lot. You asked me this question earlier, how have your thoughts changed on this? Really, as we got up close and personal, just living and being proximate with the people, we started realizing that poverty is more than just not having resources. It's a feeling. It's this feeling that there's a cloud over you that is hanging over you that you can't get out from. It's often this idea that nothing's going to change. It's always going to be this way. It's you can never get out from this. And that's why people are so surprised that gambling is a common problem in poverty areas. And you think, gosh, they don't have any money. How's that possible? It's because they think this might be my only chance to get out. There's this kind of learned helplessness that, I can never get a leg up. I can never get out. And so what are my chances? And then with trafficking, so much of trafficking has these economic roots to them. And and with most nonprofit work, a lot of it creates dependency. It's and just because people receive a gift doesn't mean that that is meeting their root need. Uh, most people living in poverty, whatever you give them, they're going to smile and say thank you. But it doesn't mean that that's what's really going to solve their problems. And we have found over the years of nonprofit work that restoring somebody's dignity is huge. It's really a cornerstone because it helps a person go from thinking, I have nothing, I need help, I'm a receiver, I have nothing to offer, I'm not important, to somebody saying, I have value, I have something to offer, I can give, I have assets, I have education. When somebody has that, they act different, they carry themselves different, they make different choices, and they become a contributor.
Culture is big. It's really big. And the other thing with the Philippines is this gambling. And here in America, they say 3 months out of the year you don't eat. When you said that, it set me back. It's like how they live, how they stay alive. That's the
Yeah.
scary part, right? Tell us a story of a coconut farmer that you helped. I'm sure you have many, but I'd love to hear a story or two.
Yeah. Um, First one that comes to my mind, Ivy Joy. She grew up in a coconut farming family, has three siblings, and life was just really hard for them. Oftentimes they would be skipping meals, skipping whole days where they're just not eating. Um, Often sick, often diarrhea because of unclean water. Um, Her parents They both dropped out of school by seventh grade, and they were on track to do the same, just to provide for the family. Um, but in 2015, their family started selling their coconuts to Dignity. Life got better. They were able to put food on the table. They were able to provide for their needs. And all four kids were able to graduate from high school. Now, this is an area where only 35% graduate high school. 53%, they don't even make it to seventh grade. And so this family, they're beating the odds. And then on top of it, they had been saving over the years as Dignity had been buying the coconuts, to where they were able to send Ivy to college. Now, this shocked the people in the area, because only 1% of the people in the whole area were able to go to college. And it was usually just, the elites of this area. So she goes to college, she gets a degree in food technology, and she starts getting offers from like Pepsi and other national corporations. But she decides, I want to go back to my rural hometown and work for Dignity. So she comes back, she works for us, and pretty soon she rises up through the ranks, and we hire her as the production supervisor now. And so she's managing dozens of people under her and doing fantastic. And we have dozens of stories like this of people who their life, their family has really been radically transformed because they started selling their coconuts to Dignity.
It's blowing me away that they're excited to get to eat every day. It's just, I'm sitting here in America like you are, and it's like, that's not even our thought for most people. There's some people. But that's a great story. And the cool thing is you get to incorporate all that work you did back into your company with this incredible employee.
Yeah.
What do you think your culture in your business is better because of the good that you're doing out there in the Philippines?
I think there's a number of things. I think the biggest thing is hope. When you walk down these streets, which used to be dirt roads, now it's paved highways. There's a feeling that's very different, and it's not really tangible, but people acted different 12 years ago. Now they light up. There's a look in their eyes that says, I have choice. I have opportunities. My kids might be able to go to college. We could do things that was not there 12 years ago. One of our workers, her name is Angeline. She was illiterate when we first hired her, and so a few years later, when she wrote us this handwritten note, we were shocked. And it said, "My physical life is so bright. My child can now go to high school. I'm no longer addicted to gambling or fighting with my husband. I have new hope for my family. I have confidence. I'm always smiling now and helping others. I can't explain fully the overflowing joy that's happening in my life, and it's spreading to the whole community. Thank you for giving us hope. Thank you for giving us dignity." That really captures it. There's this sense of confidence and hope that it is just different. I know this is many people are listening to audio, and so I won't show a picture of Angeline, but when you see her picture, you just see her smiling. You can go on our website and you can look her up, Angeline. You just see this smile of like confidence. And I was in her nipa hut, bamboo walls. It was just 10 by 10. But she had raked with palm fronds. She had raked the sand in her front lawn to just have a nice look to it. There's a sense of dignity that she had, and it's hard to really communicate how important that is for people.
That's a powerful story. And this is from a business audience. This is what businesses can do. This is what I think, well, I know a servant's heart business. That's what you have. That's why I was so excited to have you on. You've just proven over these last almost 20 minutes, 22 minutes, that you can have a business and make a massive impact. It doesn't have to be massive. I got to be careful with that. You're doing massive stuff, but if you're out there helping people It's fantastic. Well, we've come to the end. This is, you've blessed us, Erik, and you're blessing people every day. And I appreciate you so much for doing that. Let's have a fun question for you. So there's a table at a restaurant, table of 4. You have obviously 1 chair, 3 empty chairs. You're going to invite somebody, whether they're dead or alive. And what food would you order?
Oh, Steve, gosh. Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, wow. Well, I was thinking of Steve Jobs, but then if there's 4 at the table, only one of us would be talking. So I'm not going to invite Steve Jobs.
It's a good comment.
Um, goodness, my mind is blanking on people. I I think one. I don't know. This might surprise you, might not. One would be Jesus. I think I'm so fascinated at his life and his teachings, and I've just seen so much fruit by putting some of his teachings into action. I'd love to talk to him more. And speaking of that, I'd probably do Desmond Tutu from South Africa.
Hmm.
Just the way that he talks about redemption and helping people. It's just amazing to hear him think about redemptive ways. I just imagine if our criminal system used some of his ideas, it would be remarkable.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Who else would I? Gosh, I'm blanking. So I guess I'd choose you, Steve. I think you'd
I'd love
enjoy
to
the
be at that table,
conversation.
so God bless.
And
Yeah, it'd be a great conversation. Holy moly.
and I'd probably choose there'd for sure be baklava. We served baklava at our wedding, and I would probably have, yeah, hummus, baba ganoush, and kufta, and a bunch of Middle Easterner food. I love that stuff.
Middle Eastern food have the greatest names for food. I just love when you just they roll off your tongue. It's so you'll never forget them. Like taco's a taco, a burger's a burger, but I'm gonna get baklava. That sounds powerful,
Yeah.
wonderful. It's funny how that is. Erik, thanks again for being a wonderful guest. I know people are listening. They want to check out the oil. If you want good coconut oil, because you can put it on your body too, it's good for that. How can they get the oil, and how can they reach out to you and ask more questions about and help you with the Filipino farmers?
Yeah, so you can find us at dignitymade.com.
There it
Most of
is.
our socials are dignity.made or dignity made. You can find us there. Yeah, I would love for you to follow us. Buy a jar, our website. You can get a 15% off if you sign up with a email account or SMS. And yeah, try it yourself. I think you'll be amazed by our products, and you'll be amazed at that connection of feeling the impact.
And I got to say to you, Erik, happy wife, happy life. And once I gave her the coconut oil, my life got a little bit better. So it's good. Thank you. I got to get her to order more because she loved
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I forgot to
Again,
mention our
oh,
15
yeah.
ounce jars, our 15-ounce jars are signed, hand signed by the worker who made it. And you can look up their story, like people like Angeline and Ivy Joy. You can see their story and the impact that you're having.
I'm on a roll. My last 5 guests keep ending with a servant's heart, beginning with a servant's heart. That is pretty awesome. So I appreciate you mentioning that because we want to shout out to all those farmers and people in the Philippines. Let's make their life better. We should be
Yeah.
doing that. And last call to action for the audience is subscribe to the YouTube channel. And here's why. These are gifts. You're listening to Erik and going, oh my God, my friend's got this business. He needs to learn about this social impact we can do. And they spend 10 minutes listening to Erik. Or you're looking for good coconut oil. Share it with your friends. Yeah, it's a promotion, but you're getting good stuff. Erik's spending time and money to make it good. Might as well buy it and use it. So share this link and share it with others that it resonates with. And not just my podcast, any podcast that resonates with you. These links are actual gifts. Guess what? Because you're making an impact and difference in somebody's life. So go ahead and do that. And as always, me and Erik want to thank you all so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.